going on, guys? If you're watching this later, if you'd like to tune into these lives later, going to be just launching in about 10 minutes. We're going to be doing a space on Twitter, and I'll be reading the YouTube comments live. So if you want to be a part of these, when I do these, you can just turn the notifications on. If you have a question you want to ask, or you just want to hang out and talk, or just see what we're up to. To make sure those notifications are on, you'll get that warning. You'll be able to pop in on the YouTube side of things. And if you want to join the conversation, you'll be able to join on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoControl3, or just Crypto Control should pop up. And you'll be able to join these conversations live. Tonight, in about 8 minutes, I'm going to be starting our Twitter space. And like I said, I'll be going over the YouTube chat. So I'm going to save the... most of the topic tonight is kind of just an open space to allow people to come in and chat, whether it be in the YouTube comments or whether it be in the Twitter space. I'll be interacting with both of those and just kind of trying to have a more open conversation with anybody who wants to, with you guys, on why do cryptos fail? What stops cryptos from succeeding? And I think we'll all probably bring some value to the table in terms of what knowledge and experience we all have in DeFi. And when it comes to addressing that problem, I think that's the secret, is how do you address the problem of whale dominance? And I don't think it's a hard one, or why cryptos fail. I think a lot of people actually have a lot of different ideas of why cryptos fail. Some people say you need outside value in order to cause a crypto to do well. And that's just a different approach. But a lot of people have it in their heads, and it's partially true that if you are only just recycling money, then it's just like a pyramid scheme or something like that. If it's all only the people that are entering and leaving the project, then it's just recycled value that's just feeding pyramid-like structure. So I think, it'd be good conversation tonight for anybody who wants to chime in on the YouTube side of things, or if you just want to listen. We'll be starting in about 6 minutes on the Twitter side. We'll be allowing anybody to come up if anybody shows up tonight. And, for me, it's kind of hard to think about these problems and to try to create a project or a solution to them that Control Token isn't doing, without pulling value away from the people that are destroying the project through selling it, which is the whales and the whale dominance, people at the top of the pyramid, and without giving that value to the people who help keep the project alive, which the only way to do that is to give it to the stakers. But if you're giving value to the people who help keep the project alive, it has to be delayed, because if you give it out immediately, the whales can get that and then they can sell. And so there has to be a structure that rewards and incentivizes the growth of the project. Otherwise, a project's only going to grow as much as those early buyers allow it to. So I've stated how I feel on these things, but I'm open to hear your guys' take, and I'm open to hear guys' ideas of how to fix why projects fail. I've covered a lot of projects. I've seen a lot of ideas, and rarely do I look at an idea and I think that that's good. Like, it's very rare that I think that. The only projects I really feel that way about now that have potential is Vitreous and Evergrow and Squidgrow. Evergrow, if they can get the utility, which they had good funding for these utilities to do well, they can start going back to the holders. That could be a good system. Squidgrow, the guy is a billionaire, crypto billionaire, has tens to hundreds of millions of dollars to fund a project with utilities and partnerships and everything. Eventually, you're going to get something. You're going to find something, a utility that's going to do well, I think, for the community when you have that kind of money and you're seeking that kind of utility. Vitreous, it's just a group of very smart people that are making AI blockchain to target compliance and other factors, very knowledgeable when it comes to finance and all of these things. One of the most professional teams I've ever seen in the history of crypto with Vitreous. And then, but my thing with, as much as I support all those projects, they are still built on a liquidity pool with it has this structure that gives all the value to the early holders. Now, Vitreous actually does have something that kind of counters that, actually, because Vitreous has this VIPP program, which basically it's everybody who does the pre-sale, they have the opportunity to share 2% of all the revenue that their products create. And so nobody after the pre-sale, like the pre-sale's done, nobody else will ever have that opportunity again. And so if anybody who's selling out of the pre-sale, they forfeit this opportunity to share in 2% of all the revenue for Vitreous with only the other pre-sellers. And if other pre-sellers leave, they can never get back in, and nobody can ever get back in on that. So that is an insane opportunity if their revenue gets high. They don't even have to be in profit. That could be an awesome thing to be sharing with the holders. So Vitreous actually does have an amazing structure, an amazing plan, an amazing utility, an amazing team, and something to actually kind of counter the whale dominance, because the whales that leave, they forfeit this. The people that are leaving the pre-sale are forfeiting this opportunity that's once in a lifetime opportunity. If you sell, you can never get back in on that 2% of revenue. So if everybody left and there's only a couple people left and they're generating hundreds of millions of dollars, well, 2% of that, 2 million, that's being shared between these people, and that's for the life of the company. So those are the kind of opportunities that are very awesome to have. That's why I was so bullish and am so bullish on Vitreous. And I'd like to see SquidGrow kind of implement something into their reward structure that would help balance the whale dominance in a way that pushes value into the future, or has it so that some kind of structure to address the whale dominance, because that's really the reason why projects fail, outside of bad actors, bad ideas. The thing is that whoever controls the price controls the sentiment of the price, and the whales control that. So we're going to go ahead and start this live on Twitter. I'll be reading the YouTube comments, and I'll be starting this live on Twitter. So you'll be able to join on the YouTube or on the Twitter. Make sure to say hi if you're on the YouTube, and I'll say hi to you in the chat. And if you guys don't mind, just drop a like on the YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Helps get more people in here. Become Bitcoin Max. sorry, I'm trying to do something else at the same time, is there's so many implications to it. The fact that the community can actually be united in the growth of the project is a huge thing. People are only united in the price going up. And so, um, any project that you're in, you're happy that the price is going up. But when it comes to selling, nobody's on the same team. It's only whoever takes that profit first, right? And sales don't benefit anybody but the person selling. And so the community can only really be united in any crypto in the growth of the price, but they're always divided in the selling of it. Everybody wants to be the one who sells at the top before everybody else on a bunch of other people who get on them. And so I think that without quite realizing it, we have a very terrible structure if it's not attached to a real company or utility, especially when you add all the bad actors and the bot people using bots and the insiders and giving themselves free tokens, all these unfair advantages over people that are getting into these projects, that you have a terrible design for something to grow long term that benefits more than just the people at the top. And so this is what I saw, and I also happen to be a large part of SafeMoon as a, one of the YouTubers that covered them, and on a daily basis, I would put out, content on SafeMoon and where they were going. And then I also led many people from SafeMoon into Evergrow, and the people that I led into Evergrow actually, made a lot of money. But I started to learn a lot about tokenomics and understanding tokenomics. So when I recognize, obviously, this is the problem that's stopping projects from growing is whale dominance. As soon as the whales sell, there's no more value in the future to look forward to, and people give up on the project. And so I realized that what that really is the liquidity pool is just a wealth distribution mechanism. That's what I call it. There's probably a more correct term for it, but it takes in the native coin, BNB, since we're on the BNB chain, and it sends out the token, control token. And so in order to fix that problem, I don't think it's a utility or an idea. I think that you have to fix that problem with the same thing. It's something that takes in value and gives out value. And so the liquidity pool takes in value and it gives out value like a pyramid scheme. Somebody puts in $1,000, they get so many tokens. We do 100x. Now, in order for somebody else to get that same amount of tokens, they have to spend $100,000 to get that same amount of tokens, and that person can sell on them. And so it definitely builds up this structure of the holders list of any project of people who, of a structure that it works just like a pyramid scheme, and it punishes you if you help keep the project alive. And so I think crypto is full of people who desperately want to be a part of a project that grows. Like the energy is there, the momentum is there, the belief is there. They know that if you just get a right project to do well, that it can be this life-changing project. It's just that there isn't a project that allows the community to come together over future value, especially when you talk about people that are looking forward to future value. It's, you go look at any project, it's when this listing happens, when Elon Musk gives us a shout out, when this utility happens, then it's going to cause the price to go up. Then it might cause people to buy. Then I might get a chance to sell, even though there's all these wallets that are above me that are going to hit their selling points first. And so it's the potential of things happening that might potentially lead to you taking value, getting value within a pyramid-like structure that rewards the people at the top. And so I think that there's a massive desire for a project like this. Like everybody has this desire and this willpower, and it can't be funneled through these projects, through these rugs, through these pump and dumps, or even if you have a project that isn't a scam, it's everybody comes in and they want it to grow and they're willing to share and like and put in this energy and work as a community. We've seen it before, but they end up being betrayed by the people at the top who take the liquidity or lie to them about what's actually going on behind the scenes and try to deceive them into basically being exit liquidity. Kind of any narrative attached to a liquidity pool is a narrative that's only going to really benefit the people at the top, and everybody else is going to be exit liquidity. You're going to have 1 to 5%. This is me guessing, of winners, and you're going to have 90 to 95% of losers. Maybe it's more, maybe it's 10 to 20% of winners and 80% of losers. But because of how it works, because all of the power, all of the control, and all of the rewards and value is being given to the people at the top, everybody else is losing. And we're creating a situation where it requires massive buy pressure to counter just a small group of people's ability to create massive sell pressure. And that's one of the reasons why control token is such a fitting name, is because we're taking control away from the people who destroy the project. It's not that they're bad, it's just that they're being incentivized and rewarded for destroying the project. And we're giving control back to the community and back to the whales to help grow a project long term. And so when we all work towards these rewards that are delayed and preserved in stablecoin, in the 6 month and the 12 month, it gives us real value that we can all work together that literally goes towards the people that keep the project alive. Whoever has the largest amount of tokens staked during these times, the 6 month and the 12 month, which are the biggest reward events, they're going to be rewarded the most. And you should be rewarded for keeping a project alive. And whoever leaves the project early, they're going to forfeit their monthly rewards. They're going to forfeit their 6 month rewards. They're going to forfeit their 12 month rewards. They're going to forfeit all of the unstaking fees. And if they're a whale, they're going to forfeit the whale rewards, which is an extra 1% of all volume that only goes towards the whales for every 3 months. You get that. So this is a kind of a genius, but very obvious and simple way to deal with the problem of why projects are failing. Is they're being the liquidity pool is incentivizing and rewarding those who destroy it, and it creates this game where, yeah, we get the price to go up, but whoever takes profits first is the winner. And it becomes this thing where, as a couple whales take profits, the rest of the whales realize that we're probably not going to get that momentum back up, and they cut their losses. Their sentiment changes, and now they've greatly lowered what their expectation of the price is, which greatly impacts the ability of the price to grow, because it creates this massive sell pressure around these points that are much lower than the all-time high. And after they sell, the whales that are left, if that project manages to get any kind of upward momentum, they missed out on their chance from all the other whales selling, and now they're going to take their profits if anybody tries to push up get that price moving upward. And this is what I feel. And definitely anybody on the Twitter side, if you want to come up and share your experiences or your ideas, just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll bring you up. And on the YouTube side, sorry that the audio cut out, guys. That's my bad. It should have been working, but for some reason it wasn't, but it is now. This is my approach to fixing this, and I don't think it's not a like random idea. It's literally like the solution. To me, it's not like the problem is how wealth is being distributed and the way that it's being rewarded. You're rewarding people for destroying projects, and you're punishing people for keeping them alive and for holding. And so, we've seen projects that try to say, oh, you just hold, and they convince people to hold, but then it ends up deceiving them into being massive exit liquidity for the people at the top. I've seen that play out quite a few times. And so it kind of becomes like you have to build a narrative that people are going to make money long term so that they can be exit liquidity for the people at the top of the pyramid. And that's just the reality of what I think of most crypto is. Unless a crypto like really blows up and you happen to get in and a bunch of people happen to get after you, then you become higher up in the pyramid and you have that opportunity to take profits. But generally speaking, narratives usually involve convincing a bunch of people that they're going to make money in order for the people at the top to make money. And so through addressing this with one thing, which is tokenomics, which is very simply that taking in value at 13% of everything going into the liquidity pool at Control Token is converted into a stable coin. And what that does is it creates rewards for everybody who's staking. So anybody who stakes, they are now getting paid for staking. If you're staking, you're committing to holding your tokens for a certain amount of time, and you should be rewarded for that in a big way, with something that shouldn't be rewarded with tokens where you have to sell in order to get value. It should be rewarded with stablecoin value. It's preserved value that can only go up because it's an appreciating coin, which means that if it goes from $1.25 to $1.50, then your rewards will go from, if you have a 10,000, it'll go from 12,500 to 15 grand. And so if you have a lot, as this appreciating coin goes up, small fluctuations in the appreciating stablecoin can be very impactful. If you get $100,000 in rewards rewards and the coin goes from $1 to $1.20, you now have 120 grand. And so all of the rewards that Control Token stores up for a year are being stored up, and the value of those rewards can only go up. Whether that XUSD, which is our stable coin, is being sold or bought, the value of it can only go up. So if we get 100 million stored up over the course of the year in those rewards that go to all the stakers that are staking for the 12-month rewards when it happens, and the value of the appreciating stablecoin, which cannot go down, goes from $1 to $2, it'll double those rewards. It'll make it 200 million if we have those amounts. Now, those are big amounts. Now, if we have lower amounts, if we only have 10 million in rewards, we go from $1 to $1.20, that'll still be 12 million. So something like this hasn't been done in terms of addressing the liquidity pool problem, how it incentivizes and rewards people for destroying the project and it punishes people for keeping projects alive. How can you build a project that lasts on something like that? But not just that, it's the way that we're doing it, because the tax is divided into a bigger and bigger amount, and the time frame happens in a bigger and bigger amount. So, the tax on a buy is 13%, and 2% of all buys are going to be given out every month. 4% of all buys are going to be converted to stablecoin and given out every 6 months. And so you'll get your monthly rewards when we launch. You'll be getting your monthly rewards for the first 5 months, which is 2% of all volume and 2% of all cells as well. And then when we get to the 6 month, when you get your 6 month rewards, you'll also be getting the 4% that built up for the last 6 months, which means that whatever that 2% was for all those months is going to be double no matter what for the 6 months. This means that the rewards for the 6 month will always, no matter what, even if volume stops, be double whatever the previous 6 months were. And because we're giving out a larger portion of the tax to the 12 month, just in the same way, which is 6% of buys, then when it comes to buy volume for the 12 month, it'll always be triple whatever the past 12 months were in volume at the end of the year. The buy tax that builds up for the entire year will be 3 times whatever the rewards were for the past 12 months. So when those first 6 months are given out, it happens the same time as the 6 month rewards. So you have your monthly rewards and you have that happening every month. Well, when it happens, and your monthly rewards happens for the 6th time, you'll have your first 6 month rewards that happens for the first time, that volume that builds up. So they happen at the same time. But when we get to the 12 month rewards, this is where things really stack up like crazy. This is what allows us all to be united in the growth of the project and value that's actually going to us as holders. It's not potential value if you sell. It's real value that can only go up through buys and sells in a very big way. So the 12-month rewards is 6% of all buys and 11% of all sells. So it's much higher when sells happen that the 12-month rewards are being fueled. And the 12-month rewards, that's 6% of all buys and 11% of all sells that built up for an entire year that's being converted into an appreciating stable coin. That 12-month event happens at the same time as the second 6-month event, that 4% that builds up for 6 months leading up into the last month rewards. That also happens at the same time as the last 1 month rewards, which is the 12-month. So you got the 12-month rewards, the last 1 month rewards, and the second 6-month rewards that all build up happen at the same time. But that's not it. We also have the unstaking fees, because I don't want to control people's bags. If people really want to pull out and sell, they have that opportunity. If you want to unstake early, there's an unstaking fee, whether you be a whale or whether you be just a regular holder who has less than 5 million tokens. Everything that unstakes, around 30 to 40% of what gets unstaked is going to go towards the 12-month rewards as well for everybody, and a special pool that goes towards only the whales. And so we have this massive shifting of value from the people that are leaving the project. We're preserving it and we're giving it out in a very big way, which means if you're a whale and you get to $1 million in this project. Now, if you get to $1 million in a taxless project, you sell, nobody else is positively impacted by that. You get your million, and you go to sell, you pay your taxes, and you've got 700 grand if you pull it out immediately. Now, in this project, when you sell or when somebody else sells $1 million, there is benefits that happen to the rest of the project, to the rest of the community. That's by design. If somebody sells $1 million, before the 6 month event and before the 12-month event, they're forfeiting all of their monthly rewards. They're forfeiting their 6 month rewards. They're forfeiting their 12-month rewards. As a whale, they're forfeiting that extra 1% of all volume that only goes to whales every 3 months. And they're forfeiting all of the unstaking fees fueling those 12-month rewards. So they're forfeiting all of that value that cannot go down, that can only go up, and the value of it can only go up because it's an appreciating stable coin. But if they unstake, then they're going to pay 30% to 35%, maybe 40 of that into that, which means that 300,000 in this project, if a whale sells, 300 grand is going to go, if they're unstaking early, is going to go back to the rest, to the 12-month rewards. They're not going to take everything and leave nothing, destroy the project, leave no value in the future that causes a project to die that was just a giant pyramid scheme. They're going to leave 300 grand from the unstaking fee. That's going to go towards those future rewards. Plus, they're forfeiting all those future rewards. Plus, when they go to sell, they're going to pay another 20% into those rewards. So 30% of those rewards, 20% into those rewards. And so what that does is this shifts a ton of value on a very large scale. It can't be a small scale. That's why I say 85% of everything going into the liquidity pool, 15% of that is being preserved into a stable coin, or I'm sorry, 13% is, 2% goes to the treasury, but 13% of everything that's going into the liquidity pool through buys is not making it into the liquidity pool. It's going somewhere else. Instead of giving it to the pyramid structure that only rewards the people at the top, we're converting it to a stable coin. We're giving it to the stakers in the future. We're rewarding the people who keep the project alive. And then when the whales go to take profits from that 85% of value that's in the liquidity pool, a fifth of what they try to pull out is going to also be converted into stablecoin and give it out into the future. And then instead of those whales getting their rewards like they do in any reward project, where the whales get the biggest rewards, everybody else gets the smallest, in this project, the whales have to, if they leave, they forfeit their rewards. And if you're a whale and you're leaving, you're forfeiting a large amount of rewards to everybody else instead of it just being a small amount. And that increases everybody's value of everybody who's left behind. Even the smallest bags that are staking are going to see bigger rewards in this project mathematically compared to any other project that's existed. If we have the same volume as any other project out there, our rewards will be bigger because our taxes is higher and because we're only giving it to the stakers, which means that everybody who doesn't stake is forfeiting their rewards to the people who are staking. So if you're trying to avoid an unstaking fee in order to sell, you still have to pay that 20% when you sell, and you're forfeiting all of your stablecoin rewards that you'd be getting during that time. So there's everything that has a negative in controlled token also has a positive next to it. If people are staking and a large amount of people stake, what does that do? It helps alleviate sell pressure. What does that do? It allows for the price to go up. It allows for big volume. It allows for big growth. So this is my idea of how I approach fixing a problem with all of DeFi. It's not just, oh, this is a cool idea. I sat down and I looked at why do projects fail? And it was obvious that it was the whale dominance getting all of the rewards, being incentivized and rewarded for destroying projects and being punished for keeping them alive. And the answer was like, it was very obvious. It's like, okay, if these people, so they get $1 million and we all get nothing, what if they just didn't get 1 million? What if they got 800,000? And they still get a lot, but we take that 200,000. And what if we use that 200,000 to not just give it back to the rest of the whales? Because if you immediately took that tax and you gave it back to everybody else, well, now you reward the rest of the whales, then they sell, then it rewards the rest of the whales, then they sell, and then there's nothing to look forward to. That's so important to recognize that people are seeking value. And in a taxless token, all of the value is in the liquidity pool, which is attached to a pyramid scheme. Not a pyramid scheme, but a pyramid structure that distributes wealth in a pyramid-like way. By taking that value that everybody is seeking, by preserving that value, and by giving it out in the future, we are preserving the life of the project and we're creating real value for people to work towards. You can't just hope that whales don't sell. You have to actually incentivize and reward them for not doing so. And it has to be in a big way. That's why people say tax tokens are dead. I'm like, dude, this isn't about a fad. This is about addressing the number one problem of why projects fail. What's going on, BM? How's it going?
What's going on? I haven't had internet at work for 5 days, so I've been sitting here crunching numbers for about 40 hours this week.
Oh, really?
Uh,
You've been, yeah. How's that going, man?
oh, just insane. Okay, I guess one way to put it is with this project, you're giving value to volume. You I don't think everyone really understands that the power of the delayed stablecoin rewards. I don't think they understand that. If you do, good for you. You're ahead of the curve. But anyway, just like take SafeMoon for instance. What was their highest daily volume? 167 million, I think. Imagine this. That puts $14.2 million into the control event. That's just phenomenal. And it doesn't go away. It builds. It builds throughout the volume builds throughout the year. Those get accumulated. It's just like I said. It gives volume value, other than just the price going up or down or whatever.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest things one of the biggest problems I saw with a reward project is it was volume, right? And so a lot of these high tax projects, well, they lowered the tax to try to incentivize more volume, but in doing so, the rewards became a lot less as well. And so if you can keep a project that has a high tax with long-term volume, then you're going to have the biggest reward projects ever created. And that's what this, I think, does. By shifting that value into the 6 month and the 12 month, it can only go up, whether buys or sells are happening. And sells actually cause it to go up more because there's a bigger percentage of sells happening. Then it incentivizes more volume, which is insane to think that the volume incentivizes volume because it's permanently increasing those rewards.
Yes, and the other thing is it's just so powerful. The volume doesn't go away. It's not like okay, oh, it had a good spike. That's it. No, no, we got real value out of that. It's just amazing. Now I don't know about getting to $100 million control event, but that's a lot of volume. Just gonna say it's a lot of volume. But anyway, I did come across a couple of strategies for the whales to help out, especially with the volume.
Yeah, feel free to. Here's my thing is like whenever I thought of this, I I didn't realize all the implications of it, and I don't think I still do yet. And I don't want to like unrealistically hype something up as the best thing ever. But the more time I spent thinking about it and the conclusions of it and how it affects everything, it was like it just kept getting better and better and better. And it was like the rewards put a natural demand on the price. That's amazing. A natural demand on the price, that permanent value in the future means that we have the narrative of the liquidity pool and we have the narrative of the 12-month rewards, and they help each other and they fuel each other. The liquidity pool goes up and down and up and down. And typically in a taxless project, you could fall asleep and your bag could go down to, nothing. You could get rugged or it could be greatly devalued. With this project, there's a hedge against that, and it's so important to maintain the sentiment of the project. How people feel about the future of the project really determines how much it'll grow. And so if people have this confidence where we know if people sell, they're greatly fueling this control event, which is really what we as a community hopefully can focus on and work towards. And they're paying into that, especially if they're unstaking, they're paying even more into it. It allows for this hedge against sell-offs, feeling like you missed out on the liquidity pool. And I think it'll allow for a stronger community to, and I can't talk about this part too much, but to overcome sell-offs, to grow past all-time highs and to keep that growth going, because there's real actual value that can only go up, whether buys or sells are happening, and because it's an appreciating stablecoin, and the value of XUSD is $1.34. So we'll be starting around that. But if it goes from $1.34 to $1.56 or whatever, it permanently increases that value as well. Like it's almost too much to take in, I feel like.
It is. I can't calculate a lot of the stuff just because there's so many variables. Because you don't know you can't predict how many people are gonna stake and then unstake, uh, what their bag sizes are. It's just that's way too. I didn't even try and tackle the whale pool math. It was just way too much. But anyway, it's really, like, if the whales were all to get together, even on our, even if it starts off slow and there's usually that slow burn period before a big run, even if the whales are providing volume by selling back their month or buying back or buying more with their monthly rewards to keep volume going and increase their bags, once it hits the 6 months, if you were to dump in just the first 6 months to it to increase your bag and keep the volume up, we're golden. If all the whales did that, we'll be good.
That's the thing is it just keeps getting better and better the more you think about it. Anybody wants to come up and share anything, definitely come out. It's more of a chill hangout thing. So if you want to come up and just, just even hang out and just chill. The fact that in a taxless project, if a massive sell-off happens, that's like worst case scenario, is the price dipping and dipping. People get, crap, now I have nothing. I wish I would have sold, In this project, it's almost and it's almost best case scenario because it fuels so much rewards into the future. If the price goes down a ton, somebody could come in with a couple grand and buy up a large portion of those rewards. That are left in the future. So I think it creates, that's the more I think about it, the better it gets. It creates this situation where a massive sell-off is this actual real buying opportunity because you're not just buying the project with the hopes that the price will go up, because that's always there too. But you're buying a project with the hopes that a price will go up with this permanent future stablecoin that can only go up with buys or sells. So that's just another amazing thing about that.
Yes, I did run across that also. I went, wait a minute, that don't look right. And I kept redoing the numbers. I'm like, no, that's very much right. You could effectively, depending on what the price is and what the volume has been, you could easily anywhere from 133% to well over that, and phenomenal numbers. Just
Yeah,
for a month.
I would love to. You should make some videos on your numbers. That would be really cool. I'd like to watch those. That'd be awesome if you would do that. Unless you just don't make videos, but it's not hard. You just, download Streamlabs, hit record, talking to Mike. You can do a window screen record and you can show the math that you're looking at and just kind of talk about it. That would be awesome. I would love to see that.
It is very difficult for me to get that kind of time.
Yeah.
I work 80 hours a week and
Oh man, that
6
sucks.
days a week. It's
Well,
very
hopefully Control
difficult.
Token changes that for you or helps with this.
Well, let's get up to that volume to get that 100 million control event. We'll be sitting pretty.
What's the volume for that? That's like billions of volume, probably.
Hold on. Oh, for the yearly volume to get
Yeah.
to where is it? I gotta make sure I got the right one. Yeah, to get to 101 million control event is like 1.92 trillion
Trillion?
for yearly volume.
Oh, it would take that much?
Yeah, it's like 3.2 million a day, 98 million a month.
Are you sure trillion or billion?
Oh, what billion? Sorry, 1.92 billion.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, damn, you scared me, dude. I was like, all right, shut the project down. It's over. No, that's doable. That's actually doable. So yeah, Evergrow hit 500 to 600 million within like 3 or 4 months. And then the whales took their profits and then the volume died down and there was nothing left to look forward to. So if we were even did a fraction of that and maintained it over the course of a year, that's definitely super successful. But it's not one of those stupid numbers that's unrealistic. If
Right, like
Evergrow can do it,
a
then
billion,
so
$1
can
billion
we.
in volume a month. Yeah, that's not gonna. Like the safe one was like, 2 billion a month or something like that. I was like, that's why my
Yeah,
icon is a safe moon thing. It's to remind me to know the math, do your research. It's a $47,000 lesson.
wow. I am sorry to hear that, man. Well, did you get into Evergrow? Did you follow us into
Yes,
Evergrow?
yes, I got out of there with about 3,000.
Okay. Did you
But
have it? Would it have gone up a lot, or was that just kind of what you ended up with?
that's kind of what I ended up with.
Oh, okay. That's still, hey, that's why I say Evergrow was the best thing that happened to SafeMoon. So a lot of people who lost a ton of money on SafeMoon were able to come out with profits on Evergrow.
Yeah, I call the $100 million control event the super token event.
Hey, man, that would be awesome. I wish you would make videos on this, but I know you're real busy. um, so 100 million, that's actually not that hard. I mean, that is success. That's why I say even if we hit a fraction of what Evergrow did, we will succeed. But I think that there's so much to control token because what I was focused on whenever I was thinking about this was when does a project blow up? And it's in the beginning. You know what I mean? That's when it has the most potential to really take off. And it's like it would continue to take off if the people would hold. But people aren't incentivized or rewarded for holding. They're incentivized and rewarded for selling. And so I think that whenever I design this, it was for that moment at the initial growth when it's the easiest time to grow to allow that to try to reach its full potential, whatever market cap that may be or whatever price point that may be. It's like what happens when you create a structure like this where whales can come in and view this as something that's not like a traditional crypto. We know that we're working towards this 12-month event and this 6-month event, and people can still take profits along the way. But never before, if the Taxless project can go to these insane market caps, like these meme coins and some of these other projects, then surely something like this that's constantly fueling this permanent value could do something similar. I mean, we don't even have to do what they do. We just have to do like a fraction of what they do, maybe a fourth of what they do, and we're securing for ourselves this permanent future for this project because we're preserving that future value. That's why I say once we launch this thing, which once, really we're just at the point where Mark has to get with the web dev and then they have to do some final things and then we're going to announce these dates to launch. But once we finally launch, the focus that, my goal of trying to do is to not deceive people into losing money. I don't want to do that. And so that's why I tell people, hey, you might want to have a bag for taking profits. You know what I mean? It's up to you. Because if you have a bag that's for taking profits that you're not going to stake, that bag is going to not be getting rewards. But I probably will just do the whale pool because the whale pool is this amazing idea that unites us as whales. It takes two BNB, about two BNB, $1,030 worth of BNB to get about 5 million tokens in the pre-sale. And at the time of launch, 5 million tokens is going to be what qualifies you to be in the whale pool. And so you'll be getting all these rewards. You'll be getting 1% that only goes to whales, so 1% of all volume. So if we hit 100 million in volume, it'll be $1 million that goes to the whale pool. And that only goes to the whales that are in the whale pool to share this stablecoin that you're getting at the 3-month, plus all the other rewards in stablecoin as well. And these stablecoins are the contract buying XUSD causes XUSD to increase because buys increase the value of XUSD. And anybody selling their rewards increases the price of XUSD even more. So these rewards that you're getting are building up over time, but the value of them is also going up over time. So volume fuels the price of the rewards up as well. So to have that kind of structure is insane. But the main thing I wanted to focus with as the community as we launch is this is the most exciting, fun time, and we have to work together. It's not up to me. I don't control the project. Even the whole community doesn't. But if we all work together and unite in the growth of the project, we have something special here, and I think we'll be able to take this to heights that most projects can't even dream of. And if we do that, if we focus on that at the beginning, which is the most fun time, which is how high can a project like this go, then we secure for ourselves that permanent future so that if on the way down, if people or you guys decide to take profits and forfeit those rewards, it's gonna massively fuel those rewards in the future as well on the way down. And so it makes it much more likely to hit these higher price points or to have this opportunity to get that momentum going again. That's probably one of the biggest things that I hope this idea does, is that it doesn't just, because like that's why I say worst case scenario, no volume happens after a sell off, like a massive sell off, if one happens. If no volume happens, there's still 13% of all buys in stablecoin preserved in the future, and 18% of all sells, and all of the unstaking fees in the future. That's worst case scenario, a bunch of people winning who usually get nothing, and in a big way, not in a small way. Best case scenario is that value in the future incentivizes volume and incentivizes the growth of the project, meaning that it could ideally, this is best case scenario, lead to the and I have to be careful saying this, the price going up over a long period of time and the volume going up over a long period of time, leading into those 12-month rewards. That's like best case scenario, one of the best projects ever created in all of DeFi, if that works. That's the dream. That's my dream of it, at least.
Yeah, I did run across some stuff, but it's like, do I really care what the price is? Am I really going to leave $500,000 in stable coin behind? Am I really going to do that? The price would have to be really high. Just put it that. I can't even imagine. I really don't care about price. I want the volume, because that fuels, excuse me, the rewards, and that being delayed just makes everybody look forward to it. Yeah, I kind of expect a huge sell-off after the control event. But
Yeah.
that's fine. Get out so I can have the next month's rewards are still going to be phenomenal. The next monthly
Oh yeah.
rewards
If
on
a
the
mass
month
sell off
13th
happens.
are going to be huge. You're
It's
basically preloading the 6 month and the next control event also.
Yeah, and like if the control event is good in a year from now when we launch, which is during the prime time of the bull market, where I think we all expect Bitcoin to go over 100K, BNB to go up past 700, back to its all-time high. I don't know if it'll go 800, 1,000, what it'll do, but we expect this market to happen, unless it breaks its cycle, that it'll be the year of the biggest cycle of this. And if the control event is really good, then people will be like, if a sell-off happens, they'll be like, wait, what if this happens again? And it'll always be that way of like, wait, we could, if a big sell-off happens, that provides an amazing entry point into it happening again. So I don't know. I think that if this does well, that it's likely to happen again, potentially in a bigger way, maybe in a smaller way, or maybe in the same. But if people go, holy cow, those stablecoin rewards are amazing, which, by the way, I'm all about transparency and being open. That's why I try to say, hey, maybe have a bag for selling, but just know that the more that we all commit to the staking pools, the more that we kind of commit to the future of the project as a whole. And everybody who commits to that, we kind of, the more we commit, the more we ensure the longevity of the project. So keep that in mind. But also, people could come in and say, well, all these people are going to commit, but I'm not going to commit. I'm just going to stay here and wait for the price to go up, and then I'll sell and pay that sell fee and forfeit my rewards. And it's like, that's cool. Worst case scenario, people come in and they're only thinking about themselves, and they're just trying to take advantage of the price. And that's probably going to happen. And I don't want to persuade people to not have that opportunity as well. Ultimately, it's up to you. But I do want people to understand that the potential of a project like this to be something that really everybody is seeking. Everybody wants to be a part of a project that goes insane. And I don't think there's ever been a project that goes insane that rewards people other than the sellers. So to have something like this opportunity available, that's why it's so important to unite the community in the growth of the project, to unite the whales in the growth of the project through this real value, so that people understand as they commit to the staking pool, especially the whales, that we are securing the sentiment of the community, because we know that the biggest players are staking in those whale pools. Now, if a bunch of people don't stake, that greatly increases all the rewards for everybody who is staked. If you're the only person staked, you're getting all the rewards to yourself. If you and one other person are staked and you have an equal amount of tokens, you guys are sharing those rewards. And so you see how in a traditional, like with SafeMoon, those reflections were being shared with every single wallet that existed. It was going towards everybody. And it was that way with Evergrow as well. Those stablecoin BUSD was going to every single wallet, and it was happening on a daily basis. And so that's just simply delaying those rewards is like the key to fixing what I see as why projects fail, because it shifts all this value into the future, and the people who leave forfeit that value in the future that can only go up. And if you delayed it like a month, then it wouldn't be much. If you delayed it a couple months, it wouldn't be much. If you delayed it even 3 to 6 months, it might be kind of good for a little bit, but after that happened, those rewards would only have built up for a small period of time. That's why ultimately I was trying to figure out what is the best time frame for this to happen, and I was like, it's got to be 12 months. It's got to be 6 and 12 built up for an entire year. Some projects say, oh, it's a 3 to 5 year hold with certain projects, with XRP, SafeMoon, and whatnot. This is like a 1 year hold that you're aiming for, and yeah, and then it can happen again. So it might sound like a long time for cryptos where projects rug in a couple days or they dump in a couple weeks or months. Um, but when projects do well, they usually last, I feel like, I don't know, a couple months or so, unless they make another comeback. The pump and the dump usually happen pretty quickly. But with something like this, a year, it'll go by a lot faster than you think, especially if there's the excitement of the bull run and everything. Um, and the closer we get, and we'll have a countdown on the website. The control event is a really cool idea. I've never seen this idea of a moon vault. Everybody loves the moon. Well, what if you put a little vault door on the moon and then you stored up stablecoin on it? I think that's a really cool idea. And it creates this exciting event that has a countdown that we can all work towards, that has a ton of value working towards it. And so everybody in the community knows as we go up or down that that value is only going up, and that the price of that value is only going up as well. So it's just this permanent thing, which is one of the point I wanted to make real quick. And anybody's welcome to come up, and I'll read the YouTube comments in a second. Is that this permanent value that's going up? Dang, I'm going to lose it. You have the permanent value going up on the 12-month rewards. And yeah, I've lost it. Dang it. Okay, so if anybody wants to come up, we've got one more person. When I remember it, I'll tell you guys, because it is kind of important. But you'll hear me say it a bunch as I talk about Control Token. What's going on? Control Token Wizard in the YouTube side of things. We got Mitch Bromwell, Crypto Savage. Yeah, the supply is 1 billion. I think 30%, that was another conversation I was having with Mark, is what supply should go to the pre-sale and what supply should go to launch. And I was kind of telling him, like, hey, the entire point of this project is to take power and control away from the early buyers, but that's us. And so I did a little research, and I kind of came to the agreement with what Mark was saying, that it's around 30% goes to pre-sale. Mark was asking me about setting aside tokens. He's like, how much tokens are you giving for yourself and to keep aside to give and pay people? I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, dude. Like, I'm not giving myself tokens. We can pay ourselves with a 2% of whatever goes to the treasury I can use to pay myself and the team and marketing and dev work. And so that's a way to reward myself technically for making a good project. But I'm not going to go overboard with that or anything. But it's one of those things where it has to be understood that people can understand that, yeah, I can pay myself out of the 2% to the treasury. But I'm not going overboard with that. And eventually you'll see that we're utilizing that for the marketing, and we've paid for dev work and stuff. But what was I saying? I forgot where I was going with that. Let's go ahead and go to Sam, and then if anybody else wants to come up, you're welcome to come up and ask any questions or say what you think. If you think it's a good idea, bad idea, or you just want to talk, that's totally cool. I'll probably run this for not much longer, actually, because I only planned on running an hour. And you guys know how long I can rant. What's going on, Sam? You there, brother? I think your mic is muted.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Hey, there you go.
Hey,
what's going on?
so quick question: if the rewards are being distributed in stablecoin, once that's done, and even if big sell-off happens, will that affect the liquidity pool because it's a stable coin, because it's not a control token, or is it related?
Oh yeah, Yeah. So control token is the token. BNB is the chain. The rewards are in XUSD, and so that's going to be, I think, also on the BNB chain, and so that the rewards are separate from the liquidity pool. XUSD is its own uh, creation of Mark, which the supply is what's minted and destroyed. And so when you buy XUSD, you mint tokens. When you sell XUSD, you destroy those tokens. So it works a little different than your traditional liquidity pool. Um, so when buys or sells happen uh, with the project, the tax is being converted, which will affect the liquidity pool. Because basically, this project is selling for you because only the sellers win. So this project sells for you into an appreciating stablecoin and it stores it up in the future for the stakers. Real quickly, the point that I wanted to make that I forgot earlier, which is the reality of this, which is the rewards in the future are, oh my God, there's no way that this is going to escape me again. Okay, no, I've got it. I got it. Are being shared amongst all the stakers. And so when you're looking at your value, you've got your bag, say your bag says 100 grand, and the rewards say the rewards are a million. And so you'll know, you can use your calculator or you can just do the math yourself. You divide your bag by the total amount staked, and then multiply it times those rewards, and you'll find out what your share of those rewards are. So it's important to remember that while the rewards in the future are permanent and cannot go down and can only go up and only go to the people that make it to those reward events, which means that it's possible that a lot of those stakers might unstake by that time, but it's also possible that more people might enter the staking contract. When you're divided between the value in the liquidity pool and the value in those rewards, because it's your bag that gets both of those, you have to hold your bag to get that value in the future. And if you want the value of the liquidity pool, you have to sell it. And so people can say, well, I could just sell right now and pay the state, pay the sell fee and get 80 grand. And that'd be awesome. Or I could wait in this project. And so that's the reality. I don't want to try to hide or paint people's to think about this project in a way that causes them to lose money. I want to paint all possibilities and let you guys decide for yourselves while also trying to encourage everybody to focus on the growth of the project with your decisions. So it's kind of like this, and I've made this point before. If you have multiple bags, and by the way, one of the guys just reached out to me who might be in the space. Okay, maybe he's not here. If you have a bag in a project, in a taxless project, say you have two bags, um, traditionally you don't care what happens to a project after you sell. You're just focused on the value you get out of it. But if you have another bag, you might actually care about how you affect the future of the project. And I would love to encourage everybody to think that way. And what that means is if you do a giant sell, if you're selling for 80 grand, well, you could sell, bam, 80 grand at once. You'd face price impact, which would cause it to be less, and you put a bigger red candle on the charts. Or you could sell 10 grand, wait till the next day, 10 grand, wait till the next day, 10 grand. If the price continues to go up because you're not putting this giant stunt of the growth in it, you'll be getting more for your value of those projects, and you'll be helping the project grow. So if you had two bags and you were thinking about your second bag, you might approach it from that. That runs the risk of, if somebody else puts a giant red candle, now you just lost your opportunity to sell all that for that value, and now you have much less value. But I think that the more we encourage the community to think about each other, as hard as that might be in a project where you have to, where you're so used to traditional crypto, that we can create a situation where people will treat the project and think about the future of the project. When it comes to selling or buying or holding or anything you're doing, we're all focused on the future growth of the project. And even if you're not, even if you're like, screw everybody, I'm going to get mine and get out of here, well, you're forfeiting those rewards. You're paying a buy tax. You're paying a sell tax. So there's a hedge against it, even if for the worst of actors. Um, Sorry, Sam, but you reminded me of what I wanted to say. What was it you were asking again?
That's all good, man. And anytime anybody asks a question, you go like 80 miles an hour. No, it's the one when you get the rewards and stablecoin, even if it's $2 million in rewards and it's been distributed among the stakers, even if they sell all of it, all the rewards, I don't think it will it will affect the price because it's in a different coin, because it's in a stable coin? That's my question.
Yeah, so the XUSD, which is our stablecoin, is separate from Control Token. Control Token's
Okay.
liquidity pool is BNB and Control Token. And so as people send BNB into the contract, they get Control Token out, and if they want to sell, they have to send Control Token back to get BNB out. None of this impacts XUSD other than when we use the tax on buys and sells to convert Control Token into XUSD. And when we do that, that will look like a sell on our charts. So when we convert it to a stablecoin, it will look like a sell on the charts. But when we buy XUSD, if XUSD is a little bit hard to understand if you haven't had it explained to you before, but it just involves two things when it comes to understanding XUSD. The supply is whatever people buy. The supply could be zero, and you could put $100 into XUSD. Now the supply is $100 worth of XUSD. I'm eventually going to get Mark in here, and you'll be able to ask all their technical questions. When you sell, if you sold that $100, it would destroy those tokens, and now there wouldn't be any tokens in supply. And so the how XUSD works is it's a very small tax when you buy or when you sell, and that tax goes to all of the supply. And so when you sell, because you're destroying part of your supply, you're paying into the value of everybody else's supply that's also not going to your tokens. This is why it's an appreciating stablecoin. This is why it's at $1.34 right now. It's gone from $1 to $1.34. And if our project does well, I think that value is going to shoot up of XUSD. I think it's going to cause it to grow immensely. And that'll be another topic that I can focus on how much volume do we need to get the value of XUSD to go up. So when people go to sell Control Token, that's going to increase the rewards, like the amount of XUSD, because they're going to pay 18% sell fee. That's going to be a sell on the charts for Control Token that gets converted into stablecoin that gets put into the future value. So that the rewards don't go down. The only way the rewards go down is when they get distributed to the stakers. And so if you make it to the 6-month event, everybody who's staking in the 6-month pool or the 12-month pool at that time is going to get those 6-month rewards along with the 1-month rewards for that month. And when they get those rewards, then the rewards go down because they're being distributed to everybody. So everybody gets their stablecoin in your wallet. You'll get your XUSD plus whatever the amount of XUSD you got, plus the fact that its value has gone up of that rewards. Now, if you sold your XUSD to convert it into more Control Token, which people probably will do that, and do whatever you want to do with it. But the people who do that are going to be increasing the value of everybody else's XUSD. This is a weird situation where as everybody buys or sells XUSD, it increases the value of everybody else's XUSD. Most people probably won't be buying XUSD unless you want to just store, you make a really good sell and you want to store it in XUSD because you see the price going up. You can totally do that. And XUSD can go to $5, $10. XUSD can go insane depending on the amount of volume and the utilities that are feeding it, but it can't go down. And so you can do that if you want. You can sell it into and convert it into XUSD. You can convert your coins into XUSD if you want, or you can just keep it as XUSD. But when people sell their rewards, it increases the price on a small scale for everybody else's rewards. And as our contract is buying XUSD through our sell tax and our buy tax, and I know this might be a lot to take in, but when we have buys or sells, we have that tax. And that tax is for us selling the token, but for XUSD, it's buying the token and storing it up. It's converting it into an appreciating stablecoin. And so all when it comes to XUSD, buys and sells make the price go up. So people selling their rewards, even if you got your rewards or I got my rewards and I sold $100,000 worth of XUSD, that's going to increase the price for everybody else's XUSD. And if you're not confused right now, I'd like to confuse you by, if you don't know this already, we have a secondary liquidity pool. And so we're going to have Control Token with BNB, and we have a secondary pool of Control Token with XUSD. So as the price of XUSD goes up, we'll have a secondary liquidity pool that raises the price of Control Token. And then what we'll do is we have this option to do something really cool where we arbitrage. I'm sure everybody here knows what arbitrage is, but if you don't, it's buying something that's cheap here and going over here selling the same thing for more to balance out those prices. You know, if apples are $1 here and they're $2 over here, well, you can just buy them here and sell them there until you balance it to do $1.50 in both places. Well, we can arbitrage. We can give ourselves access to arbitrage our own liquidity pools before anybody else can, because usually that's just an opportunity for anybody who's paying attention to different prices on exchanges or whatnot to buy here, sell there, buy here, sell there, and they balance out liquidity pools and they're rewarded for it. Well, we can do that ourselves. And what we're going to do with that is the balancing of the arbitrage between the BNB pool and the XUSD pool is going to be fueling the monthly rewards as well. And so I don't know how significant that'll be, but it might just be a little bit. But that's going to be one thing that's already fueling the monthly rewards is the arbitraging our own liquidity pools with the XUSD price and the control token price. There's just so much to control token. It's a lot to take in because some of it's Mark's genius and some of it is my ideas, which Mark didn't come up with these ideas. I brought them to him. He told me what he liked, what he didn't like. He didn't like the high tax. He didn't like certain things about it. And I said, nah, like you can't get rid of that. Like you can't get rid of the high tax. There's no way to address the whale dominance problem without a tax. And it needs to be high. If it's 1 to 2 to 5, then it's not enough. And so having 15 in and 20 out, that's enough. That's enough to store up a lot of value, like BM is talking about. When you start to look at these numbers, and you guys know that those are the kind of videos I make, and you've got me for the creator of the project. And like I said, I don't want people like idolizing me or worshiping me like what's happened with other projects, but I will be making content. You'll have your own creator of a project making content on a daily basis. And you guys remember my math videos, you remember my stuff. And I have to be a little careful when I talk about price because I can get in legal trouble. But there's a way that I can talk about it. As long as I'm not doing price predictions, I think I'm good. But I can run numbers and say, hey, if we get this much volume, then this is what the rewards will look like. And so once we get launched, and by the way, you'll have a calculator on the website. So you'll be able to put in your amount of tokens and it'll show you the monthly rewards, the 6-month rewards, and the 12-month rewards. You can put in any amount of tokens. It'll show you what portion of those rewards you'll get. When we launch, unless we get a ton of volume, those rewards shouldn't be very much because we haven't had much volume. That's why I say our focus at launch should not be the 1 month or the 6-month rewards. Focus at launch should be this is the number one opportunity to see how much this project can grow because that's what it was designed for. It's it's not guaranteed, but I think that we can all see how heavily incentivized this is. And anybody's welcome to come up here and say anything, but I've never seen anything like this. I'm a content creator for crypto. I've had tons of projects come out to me, and I've always seen that it's usually not a great idea. It's rarely is it actually a cool idea. And I've had this idea in my back pocket the whole time. So me and Mark went over it a little bit. He helped me refine some areas. He convinced me to do staking. Where I didn't want to do staking at first. I wanted to go to everybody because I didn't want everybody to have to do anything. But then after a certain amount of time went by, I realized that staking is a way to reward the holders. I wanted it to be that everybody just held, and when you got to the control event, everybody was rewarded. But it's 1,000 times better what we have, which is, I know this is probably one of the longest pre-sales going on, and it sucks that it's lasted so long, but it's good that it's lasted so long because I happen to think, and I've been trying to think of this for a while, and I'm sorry for ranting, that how do you create a situation where you reward the whales extra for keeping the project alive? Because if the whales are holding, that just gives other people opportunities to sell. And so how do we reward these people who really control the project? And so I was talking about Mark about identifying them with percentages and finding a way to draw a line somewhere in order to create this way for we can create these extra rewards for whales, which will greatly incentivize them to hold on top of the getting, the most of the other rewards as well. And people need to understand, and I think that'll be a complaint coming in as the project grows is, oh, why is the whales being rewarded more? And it's like, so the project will grow and so that more volume will happen. It's for your benefit. If the whales hold, the project will grow. It'll give people underneath them the actual opportunity to hit selling points or to get more volume that incentivizes these rewards. And so it's super important to understand that. But if the pre-sale hadn't gotten delayed by the website, really not running into issues with the website, I wouldn't have had time to finally realize the way to make the whale pool work And I think this is a genius idea. I'm so glad it came to me because I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I thought about it and I said, oh, that's just not going to work. We can't do it. And then I was just sitting there and I was like, wait, the unstaking fee. If you use the unstaking fee to fuel the whale rewards, then you can create a situation where the whales can actually work together towards the growth of the project. They already can do that with the tax system that Control Token has, even if we didn't have the whale pool. But the whale pool is like all of us in this room, which it might literally be us here, coming together and saying, let's commit to the staking pool and maybe keep a fourth of what you have aside for taking profits at some point. But we're going to commit most of our bags to the staking pool. And what does that do for all of us? Well, that allows, yeah, technically, if we're all whales here, which we might literally all be, because you only need 2 BNB or $1,030 to be a whale in this project. And if we all do that, we know that you all just committed to 12 months, that the biggest people who control the price just committed to 12 months. What does that do to the sentiment of the rest of the community? It makes them bullish because they know that we're committing to that time period, and that if we unstake, we're paying an unstaking fee, we're forfeiting those rewards, we're forfeiting our monthly rewards, and we're paying the sell fee. And so we know as whales that if I sell, which obviously I'm not going to out of my own project, I mean, maybe take profits at some point, but if I have a smaller bag that I set aside, but I don't know what my plan is right now, but just for the sake of the argument, if I sell, you guys know that 20% of whatever my sell is goes back to all of you guys who make it to the 12-month event. Say I sell for $1 million. 200 grand gets converted into an appreciating stablecoin that gets pushed into the 12-month rewards for you on top of all the other rewards. This is like a separate extra thing. Also, 10% of everybody who's unstaking out of the staking pools, you know, the 1 month, if anybody unstakes early out of the 1 month, the 6 month, or the 12 month, and they're not a whale, 10% of what they unstake, everybody goes to the whale pools at the 12 month. And so we have basically the whales, us uniting. We know that if anybody leaves, a fifth of what they sell is going back to us to share of those of us who make it to the 12 month, which that's never been done before. In a taxless project, when a sell happens, you just lose and you wish you would have sold. You're punished for not selling. They're rewarded for selling. In this project, we know that as we all commit to the future of the project, that we can all be more bullish on the future of the project, that the community can be more bullish on the future of the project, and that if any of us decides to leave to take profits, say you have $1 million and you leave, you're still going to get 500 grand, but 300 grand is going to go towards the 12-month rewards from the unstaking fee, and 200 or 150 grand is going to go towards the 1 month, the 6 month, and the 12-month rewards. And you're going to forfeit your share of all those rewards to everybody else. This is a way to shift a ton of value into the future. And so it kind of just came to me when I was just like sitting on my couch, and I don't know how, but I had been trying to think of it for a while, but it kind of just came to me, and I was like, oh, the unstaking fee is how you make this work. We can just pick a certain amount of tokens, and if you have that amount of tokens, you can enter the whale pool, and this allows us to work towards that growth. All of us can be more bullish on that growth, and we know that if any of us leave, that, like I said, they're shifting a ton of value into the future, which leaves us a situation where that value can only go up, whether more sells or buys happen. And I think that means it's more likely that the project will do better. And it creates this situation where that just hasn't been done before, where you take the most important people of a project. That's why I say the community doesn't control the project, the team doesn't control the project, it's the whales. Pick any project, the whales control the project. Now, yeah, the team makes decisions when it comes to things, but the value that people really care about is the price. That's what people are chasing, is the value and the price. But because we're storing up so much permanent stablecoin, we're preserving value in the future, we're preserving the life of the project. That's already amazing. But secondary to that, or on top of that, we also are creating this situation where the whales are working together to be rewarded in the future growth of the project. You could never work together with whales. And this is the entire thing, is like, if we really treat this like going to the moon, well, in Control Token, we have a moon that we all share in, which is the control event. It's that moon vault. Typically a moon is people hitting their selling points, and everybody has a different moon. And once the whales hit their moon, there's no chance of everybody else getting to their moons. And so everybody talks about going to the moon. It's this false narrative that's only really going to benefit the people at the top. With this control token, we have a moon that's real, that can't go down, that's going towards the people who made it to the control event. With the most amount of tokens, you're going to be the most rewarded. And even if you have a small amount of tokens, you're still going to be rewarded. And that's going to be the people that get in really late at really high prices that are going to be, rewarded on a smaller scale. And so this is why I'm like, it feels like control token is the answer to DeFi. And, when I look at all of DeFi, it's shameful. It's people losing money. It's rug pulls. It's scams. It's bad projects. It's people selling on each other. It's an ugly place. And I was kind of done with it. And I would be done with it. I was thinking about just like, maybe I should just get out of crypto because I don't like it. I don't like my odds against going against people scamming, rugging, people using bots, insiders. There's people that have they're insiders on a lot of these projects. They know when a project's going to be pumped and they allow each other to sell on it. And so it's like, how do we protect ourselves against that? A sell fee, a buy and sell. What's that going to do? That's going to scare away people that are bad actors who are looking to pump and dump something. Now they have to, buy, wait longer just to get into profit. And then when they get into profit, when they sell, 20% of that's going to go into the future. So it protects us from people who usually destroy projects. And it creates this situation where we have something, just very special. I think this is something very special. Did somebody up here wanted to say something? Just me ranting forever. Sorry, guys. Let me check the YouTube comments. BM, if you want to say anything, or if anybody else wanted to say anything, come up. If you're excited, come let me know. If you like it, if you think it's a good idea, or if you're not sure but you just want to see how it goes, just let me know. Or if you don't want to do it in front of people, shoot me a message in the DMs on Twitter. My DMs are open, and I'll respond to you. I'm always my goal with this is kind of the opposite with SafeMoon, which was SafeMoon was maxi mindset, everything's best case scenario. And if you don't think so, you're probably evil and stupid and you should go away. This is going to be just like, treat this like a mission. We're all on a mission. We all want to go to the control event. We want it to be a really big event that's worth it. And so we have to work together as a community to make that happen. And by shifting real value into that in a meaningful way, it's going to align our incentives with making that happen. There is so much power in DeFi in communities getting a product to blow up because they know the capacity or the ability to see life-changing money that you would never see outside of crypto compared to casinos, the lottery, or working your whole life away. And so we know that that's there. And people are willing to dedicate so much energy and time and to feel like they're a part of something. And so I think Control Token is taking the power of the people, not just the value that they put into the liquidity pool through taxing that, because that really is where the power is, but also just the power of a community coming together over an idea. And instead of giving them a false idea that only benefits the people at the top of the pyramid structure of the liquidity pool, we're giving them a real idea. It's math. It's real value being preserved in the future to a certain degree. And I'm not deceiving people. And so we can all unite over something that's true. And you can know this morally as you get people into Control Token that, hey, even if the price dumps, it's shifting a ton of stablecoin into the future that you can get. And so you will be rewarded. You don't have to sell because the contract sells for you. And on top of everything, because sometimes I get so focused on the rewards because it's kind of a lot to explain and all that. But if we all stake now, when we launch, and we all commit to that whale pool, which I think a lot of us are going to, and I think it's going to be awesome. If we have a good year, if this project is even a fraction of what I think it could be, after the control event, you'll fulfilled your 12-month rewards. And you can decide at that point, do I want to go another year? Do I think this is going to do it again? Or do I want to take profits? You'll have that power in your tokens. Do I want the rest of these next year's rewards? Do I think this is going to do well? Or do I just want to sell here, get all my stablecoin and sell? It's not rewards or sell. You're always going to be choosing between that. But once you fulfill your staking contract, you can sell without the staking fee. And so that's a way to reward people, because what that does is it allows people to get in right at the beginning so that right after the control event, you can decide to take some profits if you want, or to sell your whole bag. And the people who get in at the very end, they could stake the day before control event. Some guy could come in, drop $1 million and get 500 grand in rewards. if the opportunity is there, he deserves to make that. If the community doesn't take advantage of that opportunity, then that whoever takes advantage of the opportunity of buying up the token in order to stake it in order to get those rewards deserves that opportunity. Because these are the questions that I've gotten, the pushback that I've gotten is, what if somebody comes and stakes right before? And I'm like, yeah, we've dealt with that. Because if somebody does that, they deserve to do it. They're going to have to massively pump the price. They'd have to buy. There'd be $1 million buy in the charts. And then they have to commit to staking for 12 months. So if they tried to unstake, they'd be 30% of whatever their bag was. Plus, they'd be forfeiting those yearly rewards. Plus, they'd be paying a sell fee on the way out. The rewards would have to be quite significant for somebody, and the price would have to be quite low for somebody to be able to come in, drop, hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in order to take advantage of that, and then try to sell. To get good rewards, yes, but then try to sell to get out real fast, no. So it is this cool structure that could allow people to come in at the end who commit to the next year, and they're all for it. Like, yeah, I want to get this control event, and I want to get the next control event. So you guys can tell that I think this idea is amazing. I think it has so much potential. It just seems amazing in every way, and it seems like nobody else has done it, which is why I didn't tell anybody about this. I didn't tell people my idea because I'm like, I only told a couple people, like a couple YouTubers and a couple friends I have about this. And a lot of people, they didn't really believe in it. They didn't really like it. But for me, it's like, I don't know. It's not about whether other people like it or not, because I can see the value in it. What's going on, BM?
Hey, at the price we're getting in at the pre-sale, I don't really like to talk about price at all anyway. But the daily volume would have to be $3,000. That's 6 BNB a day, 90,000 a month, about 1.1 million a year in volume to get your money back in stablecoin. Just let that sink.
And have your bag. Oh, and that's
still have your bag.
That's interesting.
Rewards in stablecoin.
Yeah, that's like nothing. Some projects see millions of volume on in a month span. So it typically is. That's why with this, and I'll probably end this soon because, like I said, I could rant about this forever. We still have a liquidity pool. It's just that only 85% of buys are going into it, and 18% of sells or 20% of sells are being pulled away from it to counter it. So it's being impacted a lot less, but we still have one. You could still do 100x. You could still do 1,000x and take profits. And that's up to the the individuals who do that. And obviously, if this project does well, obviously this is that time period that people look back and they go, holy cow, you could buy that for that amount. Now, maybe we don't do well. Maybe we can't get volume. Maybe we can't get price. And you guys go, man, Crypto Control, you suck. I wish you wouldn't have told us about this project. That's possible. I hope that doesn't happen. But ideally, if the project does really well, it does create that situation where, you have this potential to take profits. That's what I had in mind. Is I want to create something that creates a situation for what people want. People want those 10x's, those 100x's, and I think a situation like this is more likely for that to happen because it's being incentivized and rewarded, and it creates a situation where you can have more people take profit than just the people at the top. It's just that, once again, those people are going to be paying and forfeiting a lot of value in order to keep the project alive. Everybody's just paying a tax to keep the project alive, because the tax is preserved value that goes to the people who keep the project alive. You got anything else for me, BM? Let me.
No. I was wondering about the automatic arbitrage that you kind of hinted at a couple weeks ago, and you explained that fine. When you said you were going to talk about numbers last time? When are you going to do that?
Yeah, right now, my main focus is just to get Mark and the web dev to finish this, announce a launch date, do the final marketing, and probably once we launch, I'll be able to get into some of the numbers and working with the community, just making content on a daily basis. You know how much people love having content on a daily basis, and SafeMoon had a bunch of YouTubers that were doing that because people just eat up that information. But I'll be able to do that for my own community, and I can make really good. I have all of these different styles of content that I can make. And one of the things people loved was the numbers. So that is something I would love to get into. It is a little more complex, like you said, because the variable of the stakers. So you just have to give hypotheticals if this much of the supply stakes. But as we launch and we can see what supply is staked, then we can start to do projections based off of what we currently have staked versus what we don't have staked with potential volume over a long period of time. But the numbers are fun. So I really should do one soon about how crazy the numbers get about something like this. That's why I say if we do a fraction of what SafeMoon or Evergrow did, if SafeMoon had something like this and all that value was being preserved in stablecoin in the future for the stakers, it is very likely the price would not have gone down nearly as much, and that the whales would have held to get that stablecoin. And it would have been an insane amount for SafeMoon with the volume they had, if they had the tax that Control Token has, and if they had the a delayed appreciating stablecoin tactic. Same thing with Evergrow. If Evergrow had delayed those rewards, they would have had a ton of value shifted into the future that probably would have completely changed the sentiment, obviously, and the sentiment is what causes the price to go up or down, is how people feel about it. So I think that uniting a community in the growth of the project is going to cause the sentiment to be something that it never could have been in all of DeFi. And you see how people get with these taxless tokens. So the ability for the sentiment to become something that just hasn't been seen before in DeFi, I think Control Token has that potential. And I think we're going to blend in right now with all the other DeFi. You've got way too much. You've got a new project every day, a new scam every day. Everybody's saying this is the next big thing. This is why you got to buy it. And so our message is going to blend in a little bit. But if we grow, as I work together with you guys to be like, hey, we've got a message unlike anybody else. No one's done this. This is special. I think you guys realize that. As we grow, our voices will get louder. And as this message gets louder, it's going to have power. We're reaching out to the people that are being scammed in DeFi and saying, we've got something. I've got something for you. I've created something for you that benefits more than just the whales, that's long term. People want something long term that doesn't only benefit the whales. This is it. And so there's a huge audience that wants something like this. And I think that as we grow, our message, as long as it works, if the idea works, if the sentiment of the community is to hold and to work towards the growth of the project, that'll show on the charts, and that we'll be demonstrating that our message is real to all of DeFi. Even crappy projects that's like I said, you could just literally have crap token. People don't care if the price goes up. People will start believing in crap token. They're like, oh, dude, crap token. You'll believe in anything if the value of it goes up. And so if our value goes up with a message like this attached to it, with the control event, the appreciating stablecoin rewards, the whale pool, I think our message is going to stand out from like all of DeFi. And I think this really has massive. I literally have thoughts about, oh crap, what if I make so much money that it puts me on the radar for the SEC to come after me? Would they consider me a security? I know I'm not going to get in trouble for fraud because there's no access to the LP and I wouldn't do something like that. But would they consider me an unregistered security or something? And the people that build up a lot of money are the ones that get focused on first. And so the fact that I even have those kind of thoughts where I'm like, crap, what if this thing like really takes off and I put a massive target on me and my family of people who have this value? You know what I mean? People will kill people over 20 grand. And if this project does really well, then obviously that will put me and you guys potentially in a dangerous situation if people know who you are publicly and you make a lot of money, where you have to try to go through these extra measures that's why some people just don't dox themselves, but I'm publicly doxed. And it's potentially a dangerous situation, but the potential I think is really there. So we'll see if this works and how the rest of DeFi reacts to a project like this. I think that a lot of projects, because this is such a realistic approach to what DeFi is and the pyramid structure of a liquidity pool, I've seen projects get very defensive and offensive and attack me for it and say it's a bad idea and whatnot because they don't like it. And I think it's because it's the telling the truth about their project. And I'm not trying to crap on DeFi for the sake of crapping on them, but it's just the truth. If you build a project on a liquidity pool, you're stuck with a problem it's like a bomb attached to your rocket ship. It's failure by design. You're incentivizing and rewarding the sellers to destroy the project, and the sentiment is only going to last so long before that gets wrecked. And so as we grow, I might need to find a tactful way to preach this message without making everybody feel like their project sucks. I'm not trying to do that, but I'm also trying to focus in on why projects can't do well, and then focus on how do you address that. So we'll
Right.
see.
I can totally see us being
Yeah,
on
yeah.
a slow burn until we get closer to that control event, and then somebody's going to catch wind of it. And it's going to take off. I would bet that would be it. Actually, I am betting that's going to do that with about 10 B&B.
I think the more we grow, the more we prove ourselves to people, and the more people are willing to, you know how it is. People are scared in the beginning. Once it does well, and I've removed a lot of factors that cause projects to not do well. I'm not getting any tokens. Nobody's getting any tokens. We're not going to have access to the LP. We've removed bad actors. And we've created a situation that weeds out the short-term thinkers that want to come in and pump and dump something real fast. I think they will come eventually, but it'll be after we've proven ourselves already. So I think we do create this situation where, yeah, we have the potential to see that kind of growth. I'm going to read the YouTube comments real quick, and then I'm probably going to end this on one final note. And I'll say this final note just so I don't forget it. I have probably what I would call 3 phases, 3 to 4 phases. No, 3. I'm sorry, potentially 4 actually, of plans that I have for the future of Control Token that are as equally as exciting as everything that I've talked about. Like, if you guys think this makes sense and that it all fits together and it makes a lot of sense and it's super, there's more to this that I've thought of, and I think you'll realize once I can finally talk about that, I think you'll realize, oh, this is also a genius way to go about this project. So I do have exciting things in the future planned. Whether or not they happen or not, I don't know, but I plan on doing them. The first one about a month into launch. We're going to do about a month of launch of focusing on marketing and whatnot. We'll look at where we're at, and then during that time, we'll announce what phase 1 is. And I think, like I said, I can't really say it is. You might be able to figure out what it is, but once I can talk about it, I'll be able to explain, and I think it'll make a lot of sense to you guys. And it's going to be a fun, exciting new thing that comes on to Control Token. And I can't wait to tell you guys about that. If we do well and we have all these phases planned, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So let me read these YouTube comments real fast, and if nobody else has anything to say, I'm going to jump off here. You guys, yeah, I'm super excited talking about Control Token. And Evergrow, we made a bunch of people a lot of money, and I was able to say, hey, I led a bunch of people into Evergrow, so I hope Control Token's even better than Evergrow, and I think it by design is, but we'll just have to see if we can get that same kind of excitement going. Mitch Bromwell says, I'm committing my largest bag to the 12-month staking pool and will cost averaging in a smaller bag for the 6-month and a medium bag for each month. I just want to be able to do this correctly once. I believe XUSD is $1.34. Yeah, XUSD is $1.34 right now. Does the total supply of Control Token go down as XUSD is purchased for rewards? No, Control Token's supply is going to be at 1 billion. We have a very small percentage going towards the treasury. That's something else that I meant to say earlier, is most of the supply is going towards the pre-sale and then the launch. A lot of projects give themselves a ton of tokens. We do have tokens, but I didn't want them, but it's in case you do a listing on an exchange, which I don't plan on doing that. In case you need them. Mark kind of convinced me to do it, but we just lowered that amount, a significant amount of what those tokens are. I didn't want to do any, and I'd still be down to just say, hey, don't do any, because I was like, I don't see a reason. What do we need the tokens for? I'm not going to pay anybody with tokens. I'm not going to give anybody tokens, and I don't think we're going to do any listings with them. And he's like, okay, well, he talked me down to I think it was 60 something million or something. I forget what it was, but it's a small amount. It was much less than what he had initially thought, because Mark launches projects all the time. And projects, man, I'm going to start ranting again for projects will take so much of a pre-sale. I wanted to take such a small amount of the pre-sale. Luckily, Mark talked me into 25% of the pre-sale goes towards the treasury, 15% of the pre-sale goes towards rewards. So that 15% of rewards is probably going to go towards the first couple month rewards to make those significant in comparison to if we get good volume, then what we raise in the pre-sale will be nothing in comparison. So we're just going to put those towards the monthly rewards. But 25% to treasury, that's paying for what I wanted. If it's paid for everything that we have, the direct buy, so that when we launch, somebody can just come in with credit card, buy and stake without adding a wallet. We had to pay $2,000 for that. We had to pay Mark for the dev work, the launch. We had to pay for the website, and I've been paying myself really just enough to survive on a monthly basis. And unfortunately, I just have to do that to pay the bills because I'm dedicating all my time to Control Token right now. But we didn't give any but Mark talked me down to like 60 something tokens. So we do have a small amount of tokens, and I don't know. I'd be down to just not even have those, or maybe even burn those. I don't want them. I don't even want it to be a possibility in people's minds. They're like, oh, what about these tokens? Blah blah blah. So, but we do have tokens that are going to be probably under a multi-sig wallet that. If we need to do an exchange listing or something, but they're never going to be given away as payment, and they're never going to be given to the team. It's purely just this hypothetical, what if we needed tokens for an opportunity? Maybe Mark has something, which by the way, Mark does have something that he's working on that I still am not able to tell people about, but we're going to be one of the first projects to be a part of that as well. And whether that's going to be huge or not, I don't know. It sounds huge, and I look forward to telling you guys about that. I've given like a hint that whatever it is, it will make Control Token extremely easily accessible to basically everybody. I think it's okay to say that, but once he comes out with that, we'll see. We'll see how much it impacts Control Token. Let me finish these comments, and then I'm losing my voice, so I'm probably going to end it here. Unless anybody, last call for anybody to come up and say anything. You're always welcome to ask any questions. If you don't want to be up on stage, this is on YouTube as well. Shoot me a DM in the Twitter messages, and I'll answer any questions, or just tell me how you feel about the project. Honestly, we just want to know how you guys feel, because in my mind, things are amazing. But what if you guys are seeing something I'm not thinking of, or maybe you're seeing something positive I'm not thinking of, like BM, looking at these numbers, going and checking these numbers. It's huge. We have one of the highest taxes, and we increase those rewards by only going to stakers. So everybody that doesn't stake forfeits it. And we increase those rewards by delaying it so that everybody who leaves forfeits all those rewards. This greatly increases these rewards over a long period of time. Crypto Control, I am answering the best I can. FYI, I am no expert, and nothing here is financial advice. Control Token to $1. Please check your YouTube channel a little more often, please. 15 minutes for X and 5 minutes for YouTube during the live stream. Sorry, I just started walking because I was like ranting about Control Token, so I apologize for that. Go down as XUSD purchase for rewards. Yeah, so the supply of Control Token is going to stay the same. When it buys or sells Control Token, it's either going into the liquidity or out of it. So there's the different stores of liquidity that we have. So we're not burning any tokens. I didn't really see any value in that with these other projects that burn their tokens. You have to burn a very large amount of tokens for it to be in positive impact, which it has that potential. But both of those projects that I know of that had the burn lost that volume, and so the burn became insignificant. The burn would only have mattered if that volume would have went on for a very long time and at a very high rate. So I'm like, I don't see a purpose in doing a burn. Let's just do the rewards. Let's not pull away from those rewards and waste those rewards on a wallet that's decreasing the supply. I think those rewards are going to be more valuable by just giving them to stakers. Last comment on YouTube, and then I'll go to the Twitter, and then I'm going to end it here. Thanks for showing up, everybody. If you guys do me a favor, if you haven't already, like this and share it both on YouTube and Twitter. I know it feels cheesy. That's what's going to help us grow, and we're going to slowly start to grow, and we're going to get to 50 people. We're going to get to 100. We're going to get to 1,000. And these spaces are going to get a lot more exciting, I believe. So he says, how am I supposed to explain this to my mother, my guy? I'm fully with you on this and 100% bullish on this project. She said, doesn't want to be a whale. Shaking my head. Yeah, so the simplest explanation, if you guys, first of all, controltoken.net, guys. Crypto Control YouTube. Go to both of those. I have a ton of videos. People can just sit there and watch those videos. And secondly, what was I going to say? This is the most simple explanation of it. Everybody's paying a tax to keep the project alive, because the tax goes to the people that keep the project alive. And it builds up over a long period of time for 6 months and 12 months. And that value can't go down because it's being preserved to the value of a dollar or a stable coin, if you're trying to explain that to your grandma or your mother. I know how complex this is to explain to somebody who doesn't understand crypto. That's why I look at people and I'm like, do they have any idea of what I'm talking about? So I try to simplify it as much as I can. Generally, all the value goes into a pool. That price goes up. It kind of works like a pyramid scheme. Whoever buys in early gets all the value. Once they sell, the price goes down for everybody else. You can also talk about it, and this is one way that I explained it, is that if all of us who are listening right now were sitting at a table and we all had chips, and we could put our chips in the table and get the value in the middle of the table. But the more we hold on to our chips, the more that value grows. And so if we all commit to holding on to our chips, that value will grow more and more and more. So you can kind of use some of these metaphors to paint that picture. But very simply, everybody pays a tax. That tax is converted into stablecoin. Stablecoin's given out in the future. And so when a sell-off happens, like most projects do, we have a lot of value stored up in the future. Hopefully that value allows us to continue to have volume and to continue to grow as a community and as the price. Hopefully we can grow the price. I try to stay away from saying that, but that's the goal, right? Is the price, the growth of the price and the consistent volume. Yeah, send your mom to controltoken.net. They can watch my videos, and if anybody's not sure, link them up with me on Twitter. We don't have so many people that I can't answer all of your guys' messages right now. I can answer everybody's messages and talk to you guys. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the comments. Thanks for liking and showing up, guys. And I know that everybody wants us to launch. I really want it to launch. There's just certain things that are out of my hands. We just got to get Mark, who is messaging me, and him in the web dev, and then everything's done. We just got to announce the launch date, do the final pre-sale marketing, get people into it now, guys. The more people that get in, especially when this is the last thing I'll say, I promise. If you were building a rocket ship and you wanted to go to space, you wouldn't take in anybody. You'd look for the right people. And so I think that if you're listening to me, you think like me, and I think that we're people who think long term. We're people who think about the future growth of the project, where we look for actual problems and we don't hide them and bury them and lie to ourselves about them. I think that if you follow me, you probably have that same pattern of thinking, of logical, willing to be wrong, not going to lie to yourself, but also optimistic. And so, you know, if we're trying to build a team right now of kind of the people who have the most control over the project, unless a bunch of people come in and put a ton of money in after launch, which even then that causes the price to go up, which causes it harder to get those amount of tokens. Right now, everybody's getting the same amount of tokens. Building a solid team right now in the pre-sale is ideal. The more solid people we know who think long-term, who understand the vision, the more likely we are to take this project to the heights that we want it to go to. If terrible pyramid scheme rug pull projects with bullcrap narratives can make it to these insane growths that we've seen with this crazy volume, then surely something like this, where we've actually united the most powerful parts of a project through the tax and through the community, and focus all that power in one direction, which is the growth, can do well and be something special. So I think we have something special here. I'm going to quit ranting about it. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Make sure to like and share, and tell people about this. You don't have. This is what I say. People say, "Hey, why didn't you tell me about that?" At least tell them. Say, "Hey, just check this out. Decide for yourself." Share a video. I have so many videos on it. The whale pool, the everything. There's so much content that makes it so easy to share what this project is. And if anybody has any further questions, just put them in contact with me on Crypto Control on Twitter. Message me directly. I'll personally voice message you back and answer your questions. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. This went on a lot longer than I thought, and I'll see you guys in the next video or space. Tommy and Joel, Joseph, everybody, Rusk, Degen, Amy, Samuel, Crypto Truck, Wagman, Katro, Chilidus, Matt, Crypto Life, Zach, BM, Control Token, and then on the YouTube side of things, we got Mitch Bromwell, Nate Dogg, Brian Q. Thanks for showing up, guys. I'll see you guys. Oh, thanks for the $2 donation from Planet Black on the YouTube side. She got it. Whale Pool. She got it. Awesome. That's funny. And remember, guys, when we launch, people are going to be able to use their credit card, and that'll be a lot easier to buy for people who don't want to use Web3. All right, guys, have a great night. I'll see you guys in the next whatever we do. See you guys later.